So far the latency is 5 seconds. Hey, Mr. and I'm great, thank you for asking. How are you? Nice to hear that. How is your evening going? What are the best exercise for glutes? I would say really deep squats. You know, when you're squatting that you go deep, 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 deep all the way. You know, when you're in the lower position, squeeze those glutes, maximally, and then, go slowly up. Nothing hits the ass better than deep squats. I guarantee you that. If you do a good squat, heavy squat session, your glutes will be burning for the next 7 days minimum. I understand. First of all, I want to tell you I'm really sorry that you had cancer, and hopefully everything is okay so far, right? I mean, I'm really happy that you started going to the gym again. That's already a great sign and a great progress. And yes, muscle memory is definitely going to be present, and you're going to regain what you had before pretty quickly. Don't be afraid about that, but sometimes some muscles are not coming back as they were before. It takes some time. I mean, maybe you were laying a lot or sitting or whatever when you were sick. Just speaking hypothetically, I don't know what really happened, but just take them, give them time, and they will respond. As I said, do those deep squats, and if this doesn't, simulate the glutes, I don't know what will. I'm glad that you are fit, really. It's really nice to hear. Cancer can be a really shitty thing. I fully understand that. I'm sorry. Yeah, 4 years is a long period. I can fully understand. From 90 kilograms, yeah, to 65 kilograms is a lot. But luckily, as I said, everything turned out to be okay. Hopefully, I mean, you're going to the gym. That's, as I said, a really, really great sign so far. I honestly don't understand the part when you said that the air goes out like a balloon. Can you explain that a little bit, please? Thank you a lot for the compliment. I really appreciate. I'm doing my best to improve every day. I started this channel in March this year. I was a complete noob. I still am when it comes to YouTube monetization and stuff. But I'm also improving every day, and I will do my best to bring and to deliver to you and to all you people the best that I can, of course. That's why I'm here, and that's my mission, to give you all my knowledge that I have for around 25 years in the best possible way, that you don't have to do all the mistakes that I did during this period, and that you can get all the information out of hand directly, so that you don't have to research so much that you are able to do your normal everyday stuff, and that you can come to my channel and get it all on the plate, as we would like to say that in my country. Having a home gym during the pandemic, the corona time, was definitely a good choice. I didn't had that here in Vienna, Austria, but I have to tell you, I'm jealous to you about that. And yes, of course, I'm joking a little bit. I'm really happy that you were able to train during the corona time. So the buttocks are like a balloon that lost its air now. Yeah, I understand. I understand, but as I said, it will come with the time. Just be focused on those basic exercise. For legs and for glutes and for hamstring. Don't. I would suggest that you don't do any kind of super isolations and some fancy stuff that bikini girls are doing. That's my honest opinion and advice. Do just basic hardcore stuff, squats, deadlifts. If you don't have problem with the lower back, this really also hits the ass properly, and I can guarantee you that they will grow like weed. And of course, feed them properly. This is the most important thing. Take your protein daily. Take at least 2 grams per kilogram or 3 grams per kilogram. If you're not natural, can also go up to 4 grams. But if you had cancer, I would highly suggest that. I don't know, are you natural or not? It's not a topic here, but definitely never go to be enhanced if you had issues like that with the health. Yes, I live in Vienna. I can speak German as well. I finished my B2 certificate for Austrian speaking certificate. How is it translated properly in English? Back in 2009 already, I think. Cool. Germany is a great country. I was many times there. And my favorite restaurant from Germany, of course, is Blockhaus. Good evening, Antoine. Great, more good info is coming soon, I can promise you that. You are very welcome. I'm doing this live for the first time. Let's see how it goes. First time on YouTube. I did on other platforms. Blockhouse is not good, is the best. I love it, especially in the winter time when they have this duck, with that sweet cabbage around it. I love it, but my favorite is tenderloin steak there, medium gemacht, or filet mignon. But Blockhouse kicks ass. I think there is only one in Vienna, and I'm not there so often, but the German quality is always the best. I was in many cities in Germany. I lived actually in Berlin for about 7 months once with my previous girlfriend. It's nice. I was going often to Hamburg. Hamburg is also amazing. Was a little bit in Stuttgart, in Munich. I love Germany, honestly, a lot. What do you mean exactly that live streaming on YouTube has been difficult? Can you explain a little bit, because probably you know this better than me and I would like to learn. Antoine, really, I'm glad that you went back to lifting. I always fully support that, especially if you had break for a couple of years. Then just do it slowly but surely, as I'm pretty sure that you already are. And doing full body 3 days a week with non-related supersets. I'm not a huge fan, honestly, of full body, because I trained all my life as bodybuilder. I personally like this old school split that is called bro split. But then again, I fully support that everybody trains what they want. Full body is not bad at all. It's not, again, as I said, what I like, but I fully support if somebody feels good doing that, and you should be really doing that. And 3 days a week sound like a sweet spot balance, because I think doing full body more than 3 days in a row, pardon, you will have this muscle overlap and the body won't be able to recover. So 3 days a week is a good choice, and I fully support that. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday sounds like a good plan, honestly. That way you will have a lot of days to recover. And be sure that you take enough protein. Of course, that's the most important thing, and that you rest properly. And then full body is not an issue. But full body, I would say, as I said, it's a hardcore approach. Therefore, the recovery must be really on point. Be very careful about that. Mr. and I, yeah, Stuttgart is also good. There are really good competitive bodybuilders there that are my friends. I like Stuttgart a lot. Aha, everyone is on Twitch, TikTok. I decided to do YouTube because, I like YouTube the most. I think that the other ones, the other platforms, are not as serious as YouTube. That's my opinion. But, as if I start to expand, I will also go to those other platforms as well, But my primary one will be always be YouTube. Yes. I agree with the bro split. Again, full body is good, but if you really want to give your depends. If, as I said, if you're somebody who really enjoys that, anything that you enjoy, you should give priority to that. Screw the system that you don't enjoy. Fuck that, right? But if you really want to be the best that you can be and the biggest that you can be, and that you focus on hypertrophy and hyperplasmia, of course, depends what you are taking. I would say that then bro split is the best. But for example, if I had only one option and to train full body every day, and if somebody say this is the only option that you can do, I would train full body every day. I wouldn't mind. On to in 4 exercises per day, 30 minutes long session. This is the sweet spot. It's short but sounds brutal. If you give your maximum, it's a good option. And slowly, yes, you can increase to 6 exercises, but always listen to your body. 3 times per week is okay, but then again, 2 days is not the optimum for muscle to recover. And therefore always listen to your body, not that you get fed up and then that you don't go to the gym again for who knows how long. Always look, the point in going to the gym, by my opinion, is that you, of course, look good, that you're healthy, but you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then you're doing something wrong. I'm not saying that you're doing something wrong, but always, look that you feel good, then you're doing it okay. Yeah, Nasser lived in Stuttgart. I heard that. I forgot about that. I don't know, have you know, but mother of Nasser El Somebody is from Yugoslavia, from Serbia, where I was born. And Nasser was called the professor. I don't know how many languages was he able to speak, but definitely a lot. And many people say that he was supposed to win in 2000. Pardon, I'm speaking nonsense. In 1997, against Dorian. I honestly will say something that many won't like. I don't think that he deserved to win in 1997, despite the fact that, he was representing Yugoslavia at the time, my country, but I like to be objective. I think honestly that Dorian was better, even with injury on his biceps. I honestly think that if you look poses from the back, Dorian was game over. Nasser didn't have glutes, Nasser didn't have lower back, and the shoulders and upper back were completely foggy, by my opinion. And when Dorian was in the pose, everything except front double biceps, he really had this amazing silhouette. My opinion, not everybody has to agree with that, of course. But props to Nasser. I love Nasser a lot. I'm not an anti-Nasser person. Nasser was very smart. I don't know, did you saw the interview with him? That is hilarious, when these women were interviewing him. He was very smart, but he was, I think, also very egocentric, let's put it that way. And he was a very funny person. Funny in a positive way. He was very smart, but he was like really, what he thought, he will tell you, and probably won't like it. Yeah, honestly, as I said, I think that Dorian really was better. That's my opinion. As well, again, for example, in 1993, my opinion was that Flex Wheeler was also amazing, and I'm a huge fan of Flex Wheeler, and I think this is one of the prettiest physiques ever that was on Olympia, if not the prettiest. Dorian, when you split his muscle parts, again, my opinion, nothing against Dorian, there is nothing that you would say this looks really, really pretty. But when Dorian was when he stood in that pose, especially front lat spread, there is no front lat spread like that. There was never front lat spread like that ever, and probably never will be. So again, in 1993, Flex was prettier, but Dorian, my opinion, definitely deserved to win. Yeah, a lot of politics, definitely, yeah. Nasser was representing Yugoslavia when Yugoslavia was not really the good place in the world back then. But still, politics on the side, I think that Dorian deserved to win. I always like to give an objective opinion. Good evening to Greece too. I cannot read your name. Please don't take it personally. Andrea, hopefully. How many times per week is optimal for men over 40 doing weight workout? 4 times. 4 times is okay. 4 times is okay. You can go 5 times. I would not go more than 5 times, you know. If you don't have time, you can also go 3 times, but don't go less than 3 after 40, you know, objective opinion, optimal, pardon, as you asked, don't go over 5. I'm over 40, sometimes I go 7, and this is not smart, you know. I have to put a brake on myself, you know, because then I also have muscle overlap, and everything hurts on the next 2 weeks. 4 times. Yes, Mr. and One, you know, Dorian's front lat spread was, you know, game over. I mean, when he was in the pose, you know, there was no space between the arm and the torso, you know. This back was really like, it's huge, like he spreaded wings. I mean, this was, I mean, but the whole pose, you know, when you look at, you know, the silhouette of him, I mean, it was really pretty, you know, the lines and everything. I mean, pretty much every pose, even abs and thighs that he did was, he was really, really, you know, ripped plus grainy, you know, hard, you know. He brought that hard, grainy look on the stage that we don't see so much these days. If you ask me honestly, I mean, there is nobody that hard. I think there was nobody that hard even after Dorian, by my opinion. I mean, Ronnie was great and freaky in his own way. I loved Ronnie a lot, but you know, hard wise, he was not as hard, by my opinion again. Yes, yes. I mean, I think, you know, I'm a huge fan of mass. I like to see, you know, big guy on the stage, but I also really like to see quality and balance and symmetry and proportions. But you know, when I see really this dense hard muscle, then I know that somebody was really training hard. You know, this has nothing to do with taking stuff and taking pads and taking steroids. You know, that hard, you know, look, I mean, is achieved by hardcore, you know, really manly training. I mean, just look Dorian's blood and guts video. I mean, you can see that I thought that he will, you know, destroy those weights when he was squeezing them. You know, you could really see that he's giving all of it, you know, everything that he had. I mean, I have huge respect for him. Jersey, let's see your question. What's the best way to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time? Calorie deficit? Absolutely not calorie deficit. This will just drain you. You will feel like shit. You won't feel good, and you will be depressed. 4 days a week at the gym is okay. It's optimal. I agree that. How much cardio? So look, I will tell you, you know, cardio every time after the session, but not like a maniac, not 1 hour. Do the hit cardio, only 20 minutes. 1 minute fast, 1 minute normal. 1 minute fast, 1 minute normal. This is the hit cardio that I suggest. That way you will burn fat during the next 24 hours. Uh, Eat clean. Don't go on any kind of stupid diet or deficit, because you know what? The body will adapt with the time, you know, and no matter how low amount of calories you take, the body will adapt. The body is a bitch. How to tell you this, in the simple terms. And it will go into this survival mode, and then you will feel like shit. You won't be able to work out, you won't be able to do cardio, you won't be able to work, and you won't be losing fat. Just eat around 2-3 grams of protein per kilogram. Eat vegetables. If you have cravings for sweet, only eat fruits. Do hit cardio after the training and smash those weights. That way you will have the body recomposition mode active, and slowly and surely you will lose fat and gain muscle. It doesn't matter if you're natural or not. This is the fastest and the safest way. You are very welcome. As I said, my goal is here that I give you guys my 25 years of experience. I'm going to implement new knowledge, not to function like a dinosaur, that I only speak what worked 20 years ago and that I also tried. And that way you will have it served on a plate whenever you want. Andreas, 4 days a week, 1 hour per session. This is absolutely okay. 2 days cardio, about 1 hour. If you feel good, it's okay. If you can change, do this hit cardio every time after the workout. This is my honest suggestion. 20 minutes fast one. You will feel energized after that, you will lose fat. But then again, if you like 1 hour, do 1 hour. It's not a mistake. Mr. and one, you mean Samson, right? Samson down and others are massive. I agree. I like Samson's look a lot. Reminds me of Lee Haney's look, by the way. Is a really nice and pleasant look, but there is, first of all, I want to say these people are a million times better bodybuilders than I was at my prime. So I don't want to sound like I'm pissing and shitting on them, okay? But now we are speaking objectively as viewers. I think that he needs much more quality as somebody who is representing Mr. Olympia and as somebody who is a champion. That is he looking great? Absolutely. But is this on the level of previous Mr. Olympia? Absolutely not. My opinion. I mean, Mr. Olympia has to be somebody who is stand out, like the best bodybuilder that can be, and there is a huge lack of quality if you're asking me. Antoine, yes, I have. It is in the description, I think. Yes, it's in the description in my profile. I don't remember it really. I don't remember it right now. I mean, I remember it, but I don't want to spell it wrongly. If you can, please take a look, or I can take a look right now. Wait. Antoine, this is the email. Jersey. I said, when it's up to cardio, you know, I'm telling you what worked for me and the people that I worked with. And the most important, look, I was a super heavyweight competitor pretty much since I know myself, you know, and I was never less than 107 kilos fully ripped and dehydrated on the stage. And I was always hanging out with those huge bodybuilders from Austria, competitive ones, not some guys who are going to the gym, you know, but really with the fully decent, dedicated people. And I'm telling you what did the people the most, you know. So, you know, again, slow and steady cardio is okay, it's not wrong, but this one brings you much better and faster results that won't destroy your health. 60 is still young. You have to work at least 40 more, Jersey. Is it okay to lift heavy? You know, yes, it is okay to lift heavy. It's not a problem to lift heavy, but you have to understand, you know, not saying that you're doing the mistake, but you cannot lift as you did when you were 25. That's the thing, you know. Sometimes I have to catch myself also by doing the wrong thing. Of course, you can lift heavy, but you know, don't focus to be always the strongest that you can, you know. Don't put as much weight as possible on squats, on bench press, etc., etc., because you have to understand that yours and mine also heart is not like when it was 20. Bones, ligaments and joints listen to your body. So the key is find a balance. Yes, you know, do heavy, but as soon as the body is signalizing that you know, it's too much, listen to it. That's the honest advice. Antoine, yes, if 1 hour cardio is a stress relief, if this is an anti-stress factor for you, absolutely do it. Really, absolutely do it. No need to change that. If I was in Greece, I would be swimming in the sea at least 1 hour every day as a cardio. And I would be chasing beautiful Greekish women. Boogie Boy Bronx, about low testosterone when I was speaking in other video, what kind of joint pain you were experiencing and other symptoms. Well, I will be brutally honest to you, you know. So first of all, as you people know, I mean, here is not allowed to speak about pets, about steroids, about dosages. I'm not a doctor and I will not recommend that, and I cannot recommend. This is fully illegal. But I can tell you where I fucked up in my career so that you don't do that, okay? So first of all, I was not natural most of my career. I had, of course, breaks. I had, you know, phases when I was fully clean. Last year I was clean for like, I think 7-8 months at least. And you know, since I went off from the cycle, I was aware that this will happen. And yes, you know, I had joint pain, especially in the forearms, you know, everywhere, you know. I felt like shit, you know. Other symptoms, luckily I didn't have problem with libido, I didn't have problem with the drive down there. Of course it was not as it was when I was online on stuff, but I was not dysfunctional. But also, you know, I felt that my mood was going down and I was gaining fat around my lower stomach, especially under my chest, you know, this titty area. And it was not a good feeling. I mean, it was not like coming off drugs, of course, but definitely there were those withdrawal side effects. And but I did what I wanted to do and I cleaned myself completely. That was the point of it. But the joint pain has to come because when you take that stuff, especially stuff like nandrolone, etc., pretty much everything, there, how can I say, helping that you can do more and then the joints function better unless you're taking, when I was taking, Winstrol, then I had joint pain even when I was on stuff. But when you get off, this is like the first thing that you feel like, like an old Robocop that's going to fall apart any minute. But this is, when you have to go and prove that you deserve to take, that you did, how can I say, that you deserve to be on cycle when you were on cycle. I'm speaking about me. Mr. and one, no problem. I wish you a nice evening too. Thank you a lot, brother, and you're very welcome. Jersey, you have to live till 100 minimum, as I said. Yes, TRT can always help a lot. As I said, always consult a doctor. I'm not a doctor, I cannot speak about that. But it helped me a lot as well. It's a huge difference, especially if you were a pad user in the past. Andrea, who knows, maybe I go to Greece soon. You can never know where the future is leading us, right? Oh, I'm very jealous about that. I wish I had place in Greece, and I wish I was there. Now, once I was in Heraklion in winter time, and it was beautiful, it was amazing, I loved it. It was brutally good. Boogie Boy Bronx, you're very welcome. You can ask whatever you want. I just have to be very careful about the response that I'm giving, not because I want to be brutally honest, and to give you full blown info, but then again it might damage my channel if I say something inappropriate. Antoine sounds really sounds okay. Sounds legit. Keep it up if it works for you. But also don't be like super strict about the numbers. Always experiment. If you can do more, do more. If you can do less, do less. Give your maximum, but never try to overkill yourself, of course. But don't go there with a paper. My honest suggestion, and see, okay, now I have to do 8 reps, now I will do 8 reps. If you can do 10, do 10, then increase the weight. If it's too much, decrease, depends of the day. But it sounds like a good program from here, what I'm seeing. Jersey hit cardio, I would suggest after the workout, unless you really, really want to go to the gym and do it anyway on your days off. But as I told you, because as I remember, you want to gain muscle and lose fat. And therefore, the best way to do that is not going into the deficit by eating clean. And therefore, I would suggest that you only do HIIT cardio after the workout, not that you do too much all at once and then later you say, fuck this, going to eat everything, not going to train. Just do it after the workout, 20 minutes, put some energetic music with headphones, 20 minutes, one fast, one slow, one fast, one slow. You go home, take a shower or in the gym and you're finished. Works much better, as I said, burns fat for the next 24 hours. And it's much better than when you're doing that cardio of 1 hour like a damn hamster. I personally hate that. Antoine, sounds really good. Overhead triceps exercise, I love it. This is the exercise that a lot of people are not doing and forgetting about it. But this is, killer exercise for triceps. In Serbia, we would say this is the mama, triceps mama, the best one. I like it. It really, brings this full, thick triceps look. And for me, honestly, triceps is much more impressive muscle on the arm than the bicep itself. Pullover also is also great. Yeah, DB. Yeah. I don't see that you're doing something completely wrong from what I'm seeing from the text, on the screen. To know better, I would have to see how you train, so I don't want to give you fake bullshit information. So far it looks that you're doing everything properly, but then again I have to see, the many factors, are depends of the many factors, I have to see how you train, how you do that movement, are you doing the clean rep, are you cheating, everything, how you're breathing, but from the text that are on my monitor sounds okay, honestly. Jersey 4 days full body sounds okay. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do 4 days full body. When I recommend 3 days. But look, if you can do 4 days and if you can fully recover, then do 4 days. It's okay. It's fine. Just be, as I said, be sure that you take enough protein, that you rest properly, that you sleep properly. 10, 8, 6, 6 are the best. This is what my first coach taught me. I changed this a lot of times and I always regret. 10, 8, 6, 6 is the best, This brings the best results ever. And those 6 repetitions, bring the most power and muscle mass overall. I grew the best when I was doing those sixes. Always do them if you want my honest opinion. Yeah, crippled in a good way, exactly. That's the point, and it really gives the great pump. If you're doing 4 times per week full body, really, really be sure that you take all the additional supplements. Before training, during the training, and after the training, as well as the clean eating, of course. No deficit, really, forget the deficit. Antoine, 20 clean reps, I would personally say that's a bit too much. You don't need 20 clean reps, by my opinion, unless you really love doing that. But, if your goal is, that you build some muscle and that you're strong, I wouldn't go about 12, honestly. But then again, if this works for you, if this makes you happy, do 20, but you won't build a lot of muscles that way, by my opinion, and experience. Jersey, yeah, that's the best way, always listen to your body. Listening to your body is the key, always to success. Antoine, you're very welcome. Lion Gaming. Is it Kali Aesthetics? Is Kali Aesthetics workout better or bodybuilding workout for a teenage? I will give you brutally honest answers. So since you're a teenager, you're still developing, you're still searching for what works for you. Okay, listen to your heart, do your passion. Try both. This is my honest opinion. I personally, my opinion is bodybuilding, but if the other one works for you, do the other one. So therefore, if you're doubting, it would be very selfish from my side to tell you, do bodybuilding. Try both, see which one works for you, then do that one. Jersey berberine is a fantastic supplement for sugar reduction. It's like a natural insulin. How can I say? I don't know the proper phrase in English, but it's decreasing. It can prevent the diabetes, and it as well. It stabilizes the insulin, and therefore you're way less hungry. Whenever I can take it, I'm taking it. It's a fantastic supplement. L-theanine is an amazing, brutally amazing supplement, especially if you're addicted to caffeine, as I am. When you're stacking it with caffeine, it really gives the proper, smooth, balanced, feeling. And I would also, I would also take L-theanine before the gym, and I would also take it before sleeping. If you're taking, as I said, caffeine, always take it with caffeine in the ratio 2:1. That means, let's say, 200 milligrams of caffeine, 100 milligrams of L-theanine. I'm also not for calisthenics, but if the kid likes it, if he is a teenager, he is definitely supposed to try it, try both, and go with the one that he likes. I mean, not everybody is supposed to be a bodybuilder. If you're addicted to coffee, definitely you have to take L-theanine. It's a game changer because, as you know, honestly, I think that caffeine is a drug it functions really like a narcotic, by my opinion. Again, I'm not a doctor. As I said, I also take it, but when this gets out of, first of all, it destroys the REM phase. You cannot sleep properly if you take it. It takes 12 hours until it gets out of the system, if not more. If you cut it out rapidly, you have withdrawals, you're good for nothing for another 10, 11 days. You cannot function the next day without it. When you take it, you're back to normal. I mean, you're nothing special. So, if possible, avoid it. If not, always take L-theanine. Andrea, Yes, sugar can damage you a lot. I know, I mean, I like sugary things. I like sweets. I'm not eating them. I'm eating them only when I really have to. I mean, when I decide to eat them. But the reason also why I avoid them, because I feel inflammation everywhere from the sugars, and therefore they're destroying the immune system. You can get cancer, of course, if you take too much, diabetes. Avoid them whenever you want. I'm not saying that you all have to become a monk, but sugar is not good. Yeah. Lion Gaming, there are absolutely no side effects of taking creatine. Creatine is an amazing supplement for endurance, for strength, for brain function, for cognitive function as well. All the studies have proven that it has tons of benefits. The only side effect is if you have already damaged kidneys or problems with your kidneys, then creatine is a no-go, as well as pretty much every other mineral as the salt. But if you are healthy, you can buy creatine everywhere, and yes, it is 100% healthy, and I fully recommend that you take it before and after the training, even if you're doing calisthenics or gym. Andrea, yes, of course, in Greece there are a lot of great fruits there. Everything is great in Greece. I mean, this is an amazing country. Every Greek god is coming from the Greece. I like the Greece culture, everything. I mean, as I said, I'm very jealous to you because you live there. Always take natural sugar from fruits. Fruits are the sugars that the Lord gave us. Of course, if you're a believer like me, if not, then let's say the nature gave us. So if you have sweet cravings, take sugars. The new studies, as well as the experience, my experience and experience of other super heavyweight bodybuilders that I have contact with, you know, realize that you cannot get fat from fruits. This is a myth. Nobody was fat because they ate too much fruit. Just look at those old photos that are 100 years old, right? When people were eating healthy, organic, non-processed food, let's say also from Greece. Find one fat person on the photograph. There is none. Understand? And people were not going on diet and going to the gym every day and doing cardio. Nobody was fat. Fat person was a circus attraction. And there is your answer. Jersey nitric oxide supplements are great stuff, really. B vitamin complex is also fantastic for the central nervous system. Can help with energy, yes. My recommendation for water intake. Honest recommendation is drink as much as you can, but try to buy, some healthy water from the supermarket, bottled water, mineral water. Around the training, when you're training, at least one bottle, especially if you're doing cardio, especially if you're going to start doing HIIT cardio. This will be a game changer. When you get early in the morning, try to drink immediately the first thing, half liter of water, and drink during the day. Don't count, but roughly minimum, lowest minimum 2 liters. I would say 3 liters. Lion Gaming, as you said, you're a teenager. It depends what's your goal. If your goal is that you build muscle mass, that you get bigger, that you put some high quality weight, then a low reps with bigger weight. If your goal is, that you have this aesthetic look, that you're doing also some other sports, then normal weight with a little bit more weights. Again, you have to find yourself since you're very young. When I started going to the gym with 17, my goal was, I grew up looking at those He-Man cartoons, Rambo cartoons, movies, Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, Schwarzenegger was very popular at my time. They were at the prime when I was growing up, and all those superhero cartoons and comic books, and my goal was always to be big and jacked and strong. But then again, I'm not going to tell you what I like. You have to see what you like. If your goal is to be big and strong, then heavier weight, lower reps. Patrick, creatine all year around. Yes, you can hit creatine all year around without any problems. Unless you have already, as I said, health issues. If you don't have them, hit it all year round. Andrea, when I come to Greece, Mediterranean diet is the only one that I am going to be eating there. I don't care about the fast food. The only fast food that I might eat in Greece is a good gyros. In Vienna, Austria, this is called kebab, but I know that in Greece it's called gyros, and I personally prefer the taste of gyros. Jersey water filtration system is a great thing. I personally am planning to do that soon one day. And electrolytes in the morning. But depends, how much you sweat. If you sweat more, take normal amounts of salt, but during the whole day, magnesium at least 1 gram, maybe also potassium 300 milligrams, and all the other multi-mineral, multivitamin complex. I would highly suggest. It is a game changer for the functioning of the whole body. Electrolytes are an amazing thing. People are avoiding them. I made an episode of pre-workout that I personally use, and electrolytes are inside. It's definitely a must-have. I mean, if I don't put enough salt during the day, immediately I'm way weaker. This is what I personally noticed, and have cramps, etc., etc. Lion Gaming, I think I answered your question. Unless I didn't understood it properly and gave you some other answer. If that's the case, please write it again. Gyros are the best. Oof. With extra, of course. Lion Gaming, share the problem. If you want, of course, I will gladly give you my honest answer. Best remedy for cramps, I think everything in synergy. Salt, of course. Again, I personally take potassium, kalium, but be very careful. You cannot take too much, but you can buy it in any kind of healthy stores. I mean, I wouldn't recommend more than 300 milligrams daily at the maximum as a natural supplement. Salt, you can get up to, without problems, 10 grams daily. Again, unless you really have some issues with the kidneys. And of course, magnesium. I would go up to 1 gram. I mean, especially during this summertime when it's really hot, people are sweating a lot. Electrolytes are a must-have. Bananas are a great choice, especially pre-workout. I mean, I personally prefer to have a banana with some really good organic honey. The honey that was not made from sugar, but really from the pollen, from the flowers. That is also not going to, it's not going to make you fat, but of course, I mean, how can I say, don't now eat 2 kilos of bananas daily, but you can have a banana here and there. Nothing is going to happen even if you're dieting, by my opinion. I mean, if you're preparing for the bodybuilding show, that you are below 5% of body fat, then I would say don't eat bananas, but you can have amazing 6-pack, even an 8-pack with eating bananas, definitely. But as for cramps, it's not enough potassium in bananas. Definitely not enough. Not enough potassium. Andrea, magnesium is okay, but if you're into heavy lifting, I would add the other electrolytes that I mentioned so far. Lion Gaming, which fitness influencers do you, that means I, refer to see video that give proper and best content about bodybuilding? Well, only one, me. There is your answer. Jersey. As I said, you won't get a lot of sugars from bananas. As I said, don't take a lot of them, but banana here and there is not going to destroy you. That's a myth. Nobody got fat from bananas. They got fat from everything else. The existential vegan. Thank you, brother. Thank you that you like my channel. By the way, I tried a vegan diet recently. Was I able to build and maintain muscles by eating vegan food? And yes, it was definitely possible. I just realized that I had to put additional BCAAs and glutamine, and everything else was on point. I like vegan food a lot, but unfortunately, I love eating meat. But full props to every vegan out there. And Pumping Iron book, I never saw it. Honestly, I saw the video many times, but pumping iron kicks ass, even the second part, even the part with the women, if you saw that one. You are very welcome. Jersey, you're very welcome. I appreciate everything also. The next video is on the way. You have a great day too. Andrea, exactly. Lion Gaming, Messi or Ronaldo? Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of soccer, as we call it football at my country. I cannot give you an answer. I respect both of them, but I cannot make my mind, because as I said, I'm not a huge fan of football. I always sucked at football, especially at school, so, if I give you an answer, it would be a lie. The Hawaiian Hammer. Glad that you tried my best beast split. This is what one of my first coaches taught me. It's an amazing split. I love it. It kicks ass. It will definitely bring a lot of gains, high quality muscle gains and strength for you, Maybe the adaptation period will be hard till you survive it, if you survive it, but it seems that you are doing this properly. After that, you will become much stronger and better, and the pump is brutal, especially after chest and back, but also after the arms. I like that pump, the arm is like this, swollen and jacked, and the veins come out everywhere. It's an amazing feeling. Respect for doing my split. Gomez, is there a room for 24 hours fast once per week to gain muscle? I'm not really sure what you mean by that. What once per week? You're eating only once per week or what? I mean, I am a huge fan of fasting, fully support that. That way you can detoxicate your system. It's like changing oil on the car. It's an amazing thing. Destroys the cancer cells. Full props to it. But I don't know, what's this once per week, if you're fasting, the best fast is if you can survive really 5 days without anything. That way you can really clean everything, if you can, at least 3 days. But also if you're, eating once per day, eat that before the training. That way you will have enough energy to do the training properly. Existential vegan during 2 injuries. Sorry that you had an injury. Glad that you recover. 20 reps. As I said before, I will say it to you also. It's okay, but I wouldn't recommend going for more than 12 if you want to build muscles and strength. 12 is enough and lower. If you feel happy by doing 20, do 20. But if your goal is putting muscle mass, 20 is really too much. Andrea, yes, I love Vienna a lot. Is a great place, safest country, and city, I think, honestly, one of the safest in the Europe, if not in the world. The first district is especially really, really beautiful in Vienna. And yes, I'm really happy because I live here. Antoine, thank you a lot. Really, I appreciate it, brother. You're very welcome. The existential vegan, you're very welcome. Glad I could give proper advice. Patrick, how much water when fasting is as much as you want, but this is a tricky question. First of all, as I said, I'm not a doctor, and fasting is an amazing thing, but it can also be very dangerous. I mean, if you're not taking fats and carbs, you can take out everything, all the proper minerals and stuff with too much water when you're fasting because you're hungry. The proper fast is supposed to be without minerals and vitamins, but I would say that you take some here and there. Be very careful. The proper answer is drink normal. Don't drink too less because you're fasting. That's stupid. That's bullshit. But don't also overflow yourself with water. Drink normal. When the body is asking, drink. Fasting is a great thing. I fully support. But be careful because the point is that you increase your body function and health, not that you fuck up yourself completely. Lion Gaming, you can make my thumbnail 10 times better. Oh, look, you still have to practice. We can work together, but when you can write me that you can make it 20 times better, then this kind of tingles. Then I would maybe like to work with you, but only 10 times better. I have another guys who are offering me to do my thumbnail 10 times better already. So you're not standing out. When you can say 20 times, then we can work. Patrick, you're very welcome. Lion Gaming. I wrote my email here in the chat panel, in the chat section. Show me what you can do. You have my thumbnails, my videos. Make the better one, send me via email, then we can talk. So far nothing personal, but these are just empty words on the screen. Bogdan Raul. Is it true that by gaining muscle you have to do strength training? Well, look, this is one of the biggest debates always. I say yes, you know. You have to stimulate the body, you have to stimulate the muscle, you know. Why would a muscle be bigger if it does something that it always did, you know? So if you put, how can I say, if you train with a lot of weight, I mean, if you train with a heavy weight, that way you're stimulating the muscle to grow. It's as easy as that, you know. I mean, but that doesn't mean that, you know, you have to kill yourself with the strength training, but, you know, you have to do progressive overload. You understand? You have to try to be stronger every session, and that way you will put more muscle mass, because, you know, then the body is getting the signal. We have to get stronger by being able to move more weight. We have to put more muscle mass. It's really as simple as that. Patrick, does running long distance once per week slow down muscle growth? No. No. I mean, for example, what means long distance? I mean, do you understand, if you are a runner who is running marathon, and if you want to compete as a super heavyweight pro bodybuilder on the Olympia stage, then I wouldn't suggest doing those two things, you know, synchronized. But as long as you're doing also heavyweight leg training, putting enough proteins as well as the carbs as well as the fats, nothing is going to happen. You know, it's not easy not to stimulate, you know, certain body part that was anyway genetically supposed to grow, you know. So I mean, it's not, you know, I don't believe in theory that you just have to go to the gym and lay down all day long to grow as big as you can be. I mean, yes, you can run, it's not going to hurt, especially if you like doing that. Andrea, after workout, how many hours later we can eat our post-workout meal? This is an amazing question, honestly, because there is this anabolic window that people say that doesn't work, which is a complete bullshit. Yes, it works a lot. I highly recommend that you first have a post-workout shake, 50 grams of whey isolate, 10 grams of glutamine, 10 grams of BCAA, some good carbs like maltodextrin, dextrose, or even better Vitargo. This is like immediately when you finish the session. And then post-workout meal, 30 minutes to 45 minutes after the training. Is it a huge mistake if you miss it? No, but will you get much bigger, quicker, faster gains if you hit it in that area when the body, when the, you know, full body and muscles are craving for proper nutrients? Yes. So try to have it around at the latest 45 minutes after the gym. Andrea, Pardon, the Hawaiian Hema. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate. I really appreciate. I think, to be fully monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. I have already more than 1,000 subscribers. This happened in the last 2 weeks. When finally YouTube started showing my content to you guys. In the first phases, it doesn't show. You have to prove to the YouTube that you're constant. This is how it works. And at the moment on my screen it says 2,850 hours, but I think even before monetization, even with 3,000 hours, I will have this super chat option. I'm not sure, but with 4,000 definitely, and it's going to come soon. And I would really appreciate. Thank you, brother. Mike Allen, what are my views on heavy bundled squats and deadlifts for older people? You're 69. Look, go for it fully. Okay, but of course you're 69 years young. That means that I wish for you that you train at least another 30 years. And go heavy as much as your body is accepting that you go heavy. Your heart, you're 69, probably you're much smarter than I am, right? How heavy is too heavy for you. Go, but don't go as 25. That's or 35. Do as much as you like, but that also doesn't mean you're 69. Don't do it no matter what. You're already with one foot in the grave. You're not. Do as much as you like. I'm planning to do them all my life. If I end up my life, I would like it to be under the bench that is 200 kilograms, when I'm doing sets, not in the hospital bed. Hopefully not. Lion Gaming, you're very welcome. We will organize this. I will organize this every week for you guys, mostly every Sunday. And God bless you too, brother. Andrea, 5 hour, look, 5 hours without meal after workout. Now look, the new studies that I believe, as well as the people that I really trust that are in the bodybuilding, realized that it's also enough if you if you take 1 meal per day for hypertrophy. Let's say if your optimum is 200 grams of protein, you can take those, 300 grams of protein per day. Even if you have them once per day, it will all get inside. Okay, so it's not the end of the world if you don't eat 5 hours after the workout, and after those 5 hours you manage to eat all the proteins and carbs and fats that you need. Nothing's going to happen. But then again, if you want to be the best that you can be, it's extremely important that you hit this anabolic window after the workout. I mean, just think about it. You killed it on the gym, you destroyed the session. Why to waste that precious time? This is how I see it. Pickles McPherson, look, I was explaining this before. I don't believe in lowering the calories. Okay, I believe in clean food, and maybe later some modified diets if you're preparing for the contest. Who is? I mean, probably or not. So if you're counting the calories, you will just overkill yourself. I mean, sooner or later the body will adapt to those calories. Just eat enough proteins that you need to eat, right? And do enough gym workout, do enough cardio. That way the body will, get into the shape. Probably you're counting calories because you want to lose fat, but only counting the calories will just make you crazy, by my opinion. Don't, I mean, I don't know how many calories are you. I mean, if you're already under 1,200, if I see it's a lot. I mean, I don't even know how you function. This is really hardcore. Respect for that. But honestly, to cut the protein down just to be in your calorie range, I don't see this as a smart idea. Okay, I just see this as body destruction, as starving. Your muscles will be craving protein as well as the whole body. It's not the best possible idea. Antoine, you're very welcome, my friend. Go and see you next time. Glad I could help. Good day to you too. Mike Allen, you're very welcome. Andrea, I fully understand. 1 meal per day, if you can only eat 1 meal per day, and if you can put all your nutrients inside, it's possible even to build up muscle. As I said, it's not the ideal option, but if you do that, you can make a lot of progress. Don't overthink, oh my god, if you cannot eat after the gym, then don't eat. It's okay, it's still okay. I mean, the only problem would be if you came to me and say, look, I want to compete, or I want to put 20 kilos of muscle mass. Is this manageable? By eating once a day, then I would honestly tell you, no, this is not the best possible solution. Pickles McPherson, you're very welcome. And yes, I will always give you straightforward and clear answer. Props to you for eating clean foods, tuna and salmon. I also love them very much. Props to you for being very strict. And yes, 2 to 4 hours per week, 5 days per week, 2 to 4 hours, per day, per week, 5 days a week is okay. Don't overkill yourself with counting calories. This just, you will become mad after that. It's not the best possible way. As I said, the body can adapt. People survived on 800 calories per day, but how did they look, during the war? Let's not get into those topics. It's the body can adapt, but for what kind of price? Keep your protein high, keep your clean food high, good carbs, good fats, enough gym, enough cardio, and the body recomposition will do its job. Bogdan Raul. Bogdan Raul, I'm not quite sure I understand the question. What period of strength training is good? A year. I always train for the strength, and that way I'm gaining muscles. This is what I would recommend to you. Do you understand? You have to do progressive overload. If you want to build a muscle mass, you have to get stronger, or you have to get be able to do more reps, or you have to be able to do even cleaner form by the way how you're exercising. That way you're building muscle, you know. If you don't enjoy doing the strength training, I'm not saying that you are not enjoying, but if you're not enjoying, this is probably not the best way of gaining muscle. Andrea, so far it seems that you are having a healthy lifestyle, you're living in a beautiful country. Just keep it up and do as much as you can. You know, doing something is always better than doing nothing, you know. As one of my friends said, you know, whatever you do per day, day one is better than day none. Because McPherson, of course, do not, you know, overdo anything. I know how that feels. This is probably by being the perfectionist, and I fully understand that, and I respect that, and I support that. But the goal is that you do this as much as you can without going crazy. You know, you cannot. I understand a lot of people like to be in the control, but you know, if you control every calorie, you won't be able because you know your body will adapt and you won't have any progress. This is something that is out of your control, you know. And by having proper control of what is happening is giving the body enough nutrients. That way the body won't get into the panic mode, you understand, and you will be able to do body recomposition, to burn fat, and to put as much muscle as you want, if you want, of course. But counting calories only, you know, going to drive you to madness. Bogdan Raul, you're very welcome. My friends, I'm planning to end the live stream in around 5 minutes. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them now. welcome. You too have a great week, and we see each other next week, hopefully. I wish you good night too.